This video looks at breaking down the individual components of the deck. First, what you get in a single starter deck, my recommendation if you smash 2 of them together, and then 3 deck profiles that look at aggressive, defensive, and a variant that I would consider a meme. The Dragon of Courage starter deck offers only some cards as 2 copies, and if you were to take a guess at which ones, it's typically going to be one level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, and 1 option card. The rest of the deck being a full 4 copies. In this case, it's going to be the Agumon, Greymon, Metalgreymon, Wargreymon Ace, and the Advance of Courage cards. Which is why I highly suggest purchasing not 1, but at least 2 starter decks. This way you can get a playset and branch off into several deck building avenues. But if you're simply trying out the Digimon trading card game as a side game and want to play with just the one, by all means, feel free to. However, with the power of the 2 starter decks, you'll see a shift in what I'd recommend doing. Some cards you just have to run 4 of, and with a standard ratio of 4 level 2s, 14 level 3s, 12 level 4s, 8 level 5s, 6 level 6s, 6 option cards, and 4 tamers, this is the bare minimum of what I would suggest. The overall purpose of this deck is to utilize the reboot effects of your clear Agumon in order to get chip damage, either through your Tankmon and jamming, or attack over something. Then Digivolve into level 5 to have Wargreymon Ace ready. While Advance of Courage in my mind isn't amazing, it does let you unsuspend one of your Digimon and make one of your Greymon Digimon unaffected by Digimon effects. But Trident Arm's the best option card of the deck. Now, if you're like me and you've accumulated quite a collection, there are quite a few directions you can take the deck. By no means are these deck profiles perfect, nor have they been completely playtested. For the first true revamped deck profile, I utilize a typical Greymon engine type of deck. Because Koromon can gain DP when an attack is redirected, while a blocker raid Wargreymon would be amazing, the fact that you may not need to suspend the Black Wargreymon X is another great top-end choice. The addition of another Black Agumon also makes utilizing the Agumon X antibody from BT11 also more viable. While your entire base is now black, you don't feel as locked on color and whiff on your egg. Without needing the BT5 Koromon, you can utilize the new memory fixer Tai Kamiya as a draw engine. As a result, you still have 8 Agumons that can search for cards to the deck, while utilizing the last Agumon as a memory trick. You may disagree with blocker inheritable Greymon and running 4 copies of Greymon from BT12. My only reasoning for this is that I have it for mainly the extra DP buffs. The bigger you are, the better. And while you could bring in Advance of Courage to prevent your opponent's Digimon effects from affecting you and or unsuspending your Digimon, Metalgreymon X arguably has you covered on these avenues and even extends to option cards. The 4-cost memory is just a lot in my mind. This variant walks a finer line between defense and offense, mainly because Raid Wargreymon can be your attacker for board clearing, but also attack twice in the case that your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon. Likewise, Black Wargreymon X could redirect attacks if you have the X antibody, and then block with an inherited, or inherent, blocker effect. Now another avenue you could go, that's more aggressive, is Gaiomon. Your bottom line is almost identical to the Greymon toolbox, but with some emphasis on more searching with BT8 Agumon, and less on the memory tricks with the starter deck Agumon. I also think because you're less dependent on redirects buffing you on your turn, so rather have the DP buffs for blocking, I switched to the BT11 Koromon for some draw power. Additionally, because your top lane has reboot, I did go the jamming Greymon route from BT2. Gaiomon can get stupid with 2, but 3 checks with the Metalgreymon. As a result, why not throw jamming on top too? In regard to your options, you do expend a lot of memory, which is where the black memory boosts come in play. Combo X antibody with Black Agumon X antibody or Greymon X, and you've got some added protection as well. The next build does not utilize as many cards from the starter deck, but it does take a different look at Machinedramon. You'll notice that I replaced Tankmon with the new Mechanorimon, and also dropped the new Solarmon into the deck. The new Solarmon adds a little bit of draw power. because almost every time you play it, you're going to add something unless you hit the one metalgreymon or megadreymon that's purely red. I'll likely tinker with this, and most likely bring back more reboot inheritable level 5 Digimon, even if Andromon at this time is the only one. In this variant of Machinedramon, your focus is to find pieces and digivolve up conventionally. But I do agree that having a low number level 4 does make this less optimal. This isn't my final list, but it is something to consider with a lot of the pseudo Machinedramon support in the Dragon of Courage starter deck. The last build to go over is the meme deck Jumbo Gammamon again. And you might be asking yourself, why? Why are you doing this? All these deck concepts are fun, in theory crafted. You still utilize a lower Coromon base for added DP buffs to make Jumbo Gammamon bigger. With not 1, but 8 Digimon in the lower end for reboot, you have ways to unsuspend your Digimon. Starter deck Agumon just adds the memory tricks. You have Sephirothmon to force attacks and Mercurymon to give yourself blocker for your stack, assuming you have the memory on play and when digivolving. Greymon has many targets of tie to play, whether it's to give your Digimon extra DP when attack target is switched and draw a card, or unsuspend a Digimon when you use blocker by suspending this tamer. Mamemon can further place additional ties for more support, while Metal Tyrannomon can stun your opponent's board. But with a top end like Jumbo Gammamon or Digimon, the memes continue rolling in. Jumbo Gammamon can play any level 5 or lower Digimon from the stack, meaning you could play the level 5s or 4s for their on-play effects and then block, and followed up with another Jumbo Gammamon or Digimon play. The biggest meme of this deck is locking the board with Quartzmon. With option cards like Trident Arm, you can also digivolve your opponent's Quartzmon if you get into a classic everyone has Quartzmon board lock. Of these variants, I feel the weakest deck would be your stock Dragon of Courage build, followed by purely smashing 2 of them together. But in regard to the last 4 variants, it honestly depends on your playstyle. Machinedramon in my opinion would have the highest skill ceiling, as it has the most setup and in some cases can give your opponent a lot of memory. On the flip side, the easiest variant to play would be Raid wargreymon, which in my mind is for mid to late game players, while the Gaiomon variant is much more aggressive and better for aggro players. But Jumbo Gammamon is the most fun one of the lists I have here. Which deck are you probably going to upgrade to, and why? Let me know in the comments, because Wolf of Friendship is next on my to-do list. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.